My name is Joe Peroni, and this is the Rise Above Project. And today I want to read my next installment in the Thriving Warrior magazine. It's entitled Insecurity is the Key to Success. Some of the things I was thinking about before I wrote this was I spend a lot of time trying to change people, whether in therapy or training people. And actually I've spent most of my life doing that. And what I notice is it becomes really difficult because so many people are insecure and they're afraid to fail. They're afraid to try something new. So they run into this situation where there's a lot of toxic passivity and they just kind of sit where they are. And I was wondering how to break through on this because none of us started off like that. When we were born, we couldn't walk and we couldn't talk. Then we go through the stages of crawling and mumbling. We go through thousands and thousands of mistakes and falling down and stumbling on our words. And yet we all learn how to walk and talk just fine. So I think it's not just about enlightenment and moving people forward all the time. I think it's about knocking down all the walls that we've put up around us and that stops us from our improvement. Sometimes we need to go backwards to go forward, so to speak. So what about that childish part of us that didn't care how many mistakes we made, that didn't care how many times we fell? Maybe our problems or obstacles or insecurities are actually good things. So with that, I'm going to read you the next installment in the Thriving Warrior. It's called Insecurity is the Key to Success. First, let me give you the spoiler alert, as if the title didn't inform you of my opinion already. Don't run from your insecurities. Insecurities are natural and neutral. It's your choice on how you want to face them. Consider embracing and running with them throughout your life. Utilize them as your blueprint and personal guide to fuel your success. Insecurities are clues and hints that shine a light on the physical, social, and emotional parts of ourselves that need to be improved. Let's be specific about the meaning of insecurity. Insecurity is the feeling of anxiety and dread that is triggered by perceiving oneself to be vulnerable in some way and threatens one's self-image or ego. An insecure person may lack confidence in their abilities or be fearful of their environment. Although this doesn't feel comforting, it also does not have to be detrimental or be a prohibitive factor in one's success. More damaging is the lack of self-confidence in their value as a person or judging themselves as being broken. This dysfunctional emotional interpretation of themselves hinders their ability to acknowledge deficiencies and lack of skills as a natural step in their travel from where they are to where they would prefer to be. It also hinders one from realizing that the expectations and values of others and society does not make you a greater or a lesser person. A worthy goal is to live in a state of psychological stability and composure, which is unaffected by the opinions and emotions of other people. You are the final judge and jury. Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them." The difficulty in being a person with insecurities is not in realizing that weaknesses and deficiencies exist. These deficiencies and weaknesses make us human. And as Nietzsche would say, it makes us all too human. The difficulties begin if we choose negative and hopeless views of our deficiencies. And certainly deficiencies should never be projected onto others, as they so often are, to avoid responsibility and accountability. Difficulty manifests by not acknowledging reality, lying to ourselves and others, and justifying poor behaviors. Those who are in denial of their deficiencies and/or who have chosen toxic passivity to cope with their insecurities are in need of emotional strength and are missing out on valuable learning opportunities. Insecurities and deficiencies should be viewed with curiosity and compassionate concern rather than harsh judgment. Another difficulty may arise if someone lacks confidence in themselves as a person. This may hamper their ability and desire to objectively assess individual concerns and lead them to believe that they are a mistake, as opposed to someone who makes mistakes sometimes. Unskillful thinking such as this makes it extremely difficult for people to make the corrections and sacrifices needed to improve. Thus, two people can have identical performance levels and yet have two completely levels of willingness to stay on the path to improvement. As Epictetus reminds us, the view one takes concerning their insecurities is under their control. One person can let their insecurities rule them in a negative fashion by choosing inaction, by choosing destructive actions, by being a slave to the whims of others, and/or abandoning the self. A person who has an unhealthy relationship with their insecurities have their thoughts, feelings, and actions rooted in fear and shame of who they are. While another person can look at their insecurities as a psychological GPS to surgically target areas of improvement. Accepting deficiencies, looking forward to the opportunity to make changes, and confronting them with positive actions increase self-esteem and the potential to reach a high level of fulfillment. Handling deficiencies in a proper manner takes humility. A humble person's self-judgment is informed by an objective assessment of one's potential and limitations. Therefore, it is possible that self-confidence and insecurity can coexist. Empirical evidence indicates that insecurities are largely responsible for the success of many people. Insecurity and the fear of failure are highly motivating forces. In colloquial terms, these are the people who have an axe to grind, a chip on their shoulder, or a score to settle. These people tend to be perfectionists and are extremely motivated to prove that they are worthy. It is my personal and professional opinion that it is beneficial to accept our insecurities and attempt to discover their root cause. Then it will become easier to take the necessary steps to improve with clarity and intention. Insecurity is an existential reality. There is absolutely nothing in nature that allows for complete safety and security. It's safe to say that there are two types of people in the world: those with insecurities and those who are not mature enough to admit having insecurities. Insecurity is a natural, necessary element in life that needs to be managed in a beneficial way. Those who acknowledge and leverage their insecurities in a beneficial way can edge closer to their full potential and have the compassion and insight to assist other people. The goal is to utilize insecurities and deficiencies as stepping stones to reach self-actualization. I'm Joe Peroni. This is the Rise Above Project. If you found any of this valuable, please subscribe and tell a friend. Thank you.